Hello, my name is David Barzilai, and I am both a longevity physician. Some of you know me as Aging Doc, focusing on evidence-based best practices in longevity and health. But I'm also a husband, and this is my family story. It's also about how longevity medicine is more than boutique care. It's a way to transform health for everyone. Now let me take you to the finish line. It's a small town triathlon, the kind that smells like lake water and sunscreen. My wife, Kathy, 42, strong, grinning, the kind of person who cheers for others as she runs, and she does, leans into the tape and she breaks it. We high-five. Our son is waving a hand-drawn sign, and I remember thinking with the unearned confidence of a happy day, we're good. We're the family who does everything right. No smoke, no sirens. A few weeks later, because I work in longevity medicine, and because we had started care at a longevity clinic to build a baseline map of health, she had a whole body scan. It included a routine brain MRI. No symptoms, no complaints, just data. That's when the phone call came. The report said small abnormal flare signal in the brain MRI. Ischemia. In plain English, a silent stroke. A tiny scar hiding in a seemingly perfect brain. At that point, that finish line became a question mark for our family. This was also the moment where prevention stopped being a PowerPoint slide and it became our life. It's why I'm here, not to scare you, but to share what we learned when we stopped treating health like weeds to pull and we started treating health like a garden to grow. Here's the idea I want to leave you with. Longevity medicine transformed my wife's care. It points to where healthcare needs to go next. Instead of focusing only on treating illness, it shifts our goal towards extending health span, those years of life lived in good health. It starts with early detection and prevention. It's personalized, it's iterative, it's data-driven care. And it uses precision tools and lifestyle to keep us healthier for longer. You see, on paper, my wife should look like the perfect picture of perfect health. Ideal body weight, VO2 max through the roof. She was on a Mediterranean diet. She had normal blood pressure, a joyful life. And yet, a silent stroke. How? That's where our detective story began. First clue, the MRI finding. Second clue, family history. Strokes, heart disease, diabetes, more red flags. Third clue, her LDL cholesterol was fine for most, but not fine enough for someone who might already have had an ischemic event. And then the twist, the kind that makes the cardiologist lean forward. A PFO, a patent foramen ovale. Picture a tiny trapdoor between the heart's upper chambers, meant to close at birth, and in most people, harmless. In some, a hidden passage where a small clot can slip past the lungs filter and head straight for the brain. A trapdoor you can't feel until you do. As we worked through the questions, we moved through two different medical worlds, conventional medicine and longevity medicine. Now let me be clear, conventional medicine saved my wife's life more than once. The neurologist who examined her, the cardiologist who found the PFO and closed it, that care was excellent. Conventional care is a smoke alarm. When something burns, it rings loudly, rapidly, reliably, and we needed that alarm. But longevity medicine, it's the thermal camera. It finds the hot spots before there's smoke. Baseline scans, deep blood biomarkers, longer monitoring, tighter targets. It's less what's wrong today and more what's trending in the wrong direction and what can we do about it. With those mindsets together, conventional medicine and longevity medicine, we worked with her and her specialists, and we built a plan together. Her journey began where longevity medicine always begins, with optimizing and personalizing health before problems arise. I already knew the evidence. After a stroke, the standard LDL target is under 70. That wasn't a guess. It was an intentional, evidence-based choice, beyond US guidelines, aligned with the European ones, not yet in the US. And we didn't stop there. We measured ApoB, which is the number of cholesterol-carrying particles that drive plaque. Think of it this way. If LDL is the cargo, ApoB is the number of cars. So fewer cars, fewer crashes. We treated blood pressure like the delicate instrument it is, tightening it as long as she felt well. And we looked beyond fasting glucose. We asked, how spiky is the day? Postprandial glucose excursion, that's a fancy name. A continuous glucose monitor helped us learn her patterns, not because she has diabetes, but because glucose swings matter. Two people can eat the same oatmeal and have wildly different curves. So we tuned her meals and the timing and habits, and we smoothed the spikes. We also extended her heart rhythm monitoring from the standard 2 weeks her cardiologist recommended to a full 30 days. Why? Because the data were clear. The longer you look, the better your chances of catching intermittent atrial fibrillation, fluttering of the heart. If you look for a shy animal, you got to spend more time in the woods, right? Since that time, as with the other indication, and just 2 years later, the official guidelines caught up, now recommending 4 weeks instead of 2, based on the very evidence I was following. We also checked Lp(a) once because it's a wild card for vascular risk. And at the time, it wasn't yet a US guideline, though it is now. Hers was reassuring, and we moved on. So here's the point. Longevity medicine demands a shift from treating disease after it strikes to building a foundation of prevention. So we treated sleep, stress, and strength training like prescriptions, because they are. 7 to 8 hours of sleep, same bedtime every night. Mindfulness actually fit her schedule. Resistance training most days because muscle is health span currency. And supplements? Targeted, evidence-based. Vitamin D based on her actual measured levels, measured, optimized, and monitored over time. Omega-3s adjusted to her real omega-3 index, not just faith in a bottle. Meanwhile, conventional care kept doing what it does best. Imaging to rule out other causes, a careful hypercoagulable workup, and then the big decision, the PFO closure. Now picture this, a tiny umbrella that snaps across the trap door and seals it shut in the heart. It's not for everyone. The benefit depends on age, anatomy, and how confident you are that the PFO caused the stroke. In her case, young, large shunt, high probability, it was the right move. The day after the procedure, she laughed and says, "I can't feel anything is different." "Exactly," I said. "That's the point." Prevention rarely feels like a miracle in the moment. It feels like nothing happened. That's the quiet triumph. 2 years later, her follow-up MRI was stable. No new lesions, no new stories to tell. And that is my favorite sentence in medicine. So let me zoom out and translate our private journey into something useful for anyone who doesn't live inside PubMed, which is a database of evidence. Here's a difference in one metaphor. Conventional medicine is the fire department. When the kitchen is burning, you want that fire truck and a team that knows exactly what to do. Longevity medicine, it's the building codes, the smart detectors, the fireproof drywall. You want both. But the investments, they look different. Longevity medicine asks a different question. How do we prevent the fire in the first place? And design health that lasts for decades, not just until the next decade, and not just until the next emergency. What changes when you bring a longevity lens? First, you build a baseline before there's a crisis. That means catching things early. You don't need 1,000 tests. You need the right ones at the right time. Second, know your risk. then optimize and personalize your plan. It's about shifting from good enough for now to what's best for you. Third, you integrate lifestyle like it's a prescription because it is. Fourth, you stop patching the roof every time it rains. You start weatherproofing the house. Acute care keeps you dry today. Longevity care keeps the house standing for a lifetime. When you weatherproof the house by targeting the underlying mechanisms of aging biology across your lifetime, you fortify your health for today and for the years to come. Now, I can already hear a question, like a hand rising in the back row. This sounds great, but who gets that kind of care and who can afford all those scans and sensors? Our goal isn't concierge wellness for the lucky few. Our goal is to make the most effective parts of this framework accessible, boringly standard, and covered by insurance. So here's a practical, ambitious, doable call to action, what it will take for my wife's change trajectory to be shared by all. 1, fund aging and prevention research like we fund late-stage disease. We need research that targets the main drivers of aging-related disease so we can address them earlier and more effectively. 2, train clinicians in prevention and personalized medicine as craft. Medical education should teach prevention with the same rigor as we teach acute care. Physicians should be trained to design personalized health plans that use lifestyle as medicine. 3, give the public clear, unbiased translation of health science. Not hype, not headlines. A trusted independent clearinghouse that says, this is promising, this is proven, this is premature, and helps people apply the proven part without a PhD. 4, make preventative care easier to do than to avoid. Cover the basics through insurance and follow-up visits that are long enough to plan, not just to code. Let's subsidize food prescriptions the same way we subsidize devices. And make prevention a benefit, not a boutique. If you remember nothing else from today, my wife crossed the finishing line feeling invincible, young, athletic. A routine MRI told a different story, and it caught it. Conventional medicine changed the outcome. It found the stroke. It diagnosed the PFO. It closed the trapdoor. Vital. But longevity medicine kept going. It asked, what else should we look for? It acted earlier, before symptoms, before damage. It aimed for tighter and personalized targets, not just population averages. And it connected the dots, heart, brain, genes, lifestyle, into one plan. That partnership, conventional medicine for the crisis, longevity medicine for the long game, changed her trajectory, and it can change yours. Today, she's still active. And indeed, this photo shows we just hiked the Great Wall of China. So very active. This was just a couple weeks ago. So needless to say, she still cheers for others when at finishing lines of races. Now, the trapdoor in her heart is closed. Her numbers are where we want them, and her scans are very boring. We've learned to embrace the boring. I began with a finish line. So let me end this talk with a starting line for all of us. The starting line is the moment you decide that your future health is worth designing on purpose, not with fear, with curiosity, with evidence, and a team that looks both for smoke and for heat. Thank you.